For goodness sake, loosen up. How many times have you heard that? But have you ever thought about that for your guitar playing? Now, take your guitar off for a moment. So now that you're standing up, I want you to shake your body. Now shake your body, shake your shoulders, shake your arms, shake your wrists, shake your fingers. Really shake it all out. We'll skip the burpees for today. Now go ahead, sit back down. So now you've got your guitar back on. Grab your plectrum, your guitar pick, and strum any chords you like. I'm going to strum an E major chord. Now, how does that feel? How does that first strum feel? Probably, maybe a little bit all over the place, but hopefully you've noticed that you're a bit looser, more relaxed, less tense. And that's a crucial piece of the strumming secret that I think no one tells you. This specific tiny change, getting truly relaxed, is something I think you should start doing in your guitar routine, your guitar playing routine right now. And that's the first of 3 small, tiny, but powerful changes. 3 parts of the strumming secret no one tells you that can help your strumming sound more natural and musical almost instantly. Now, you know that we teachers always talk about strumming patterns, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, then 2, and 3, and 4, and then there's the
"You can use this pattern for almost any song"
strumming pattern. And while it's true that one pattern can work across many songs, the real struggle for many older beginners isn't learning the pattern, it's making it sound natural. That stiffness that often comes focusing too much on getting the strumming pattern right and not enough on how your body is actually moving while you play. And if you're sitting and you're playing at home and you're on your own, why are you tense? Why are you feeling stressed or bunched up and hunched up? Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching you. So there's no pressure, real or imagined. And you're doing great just by showing up and giving this a go. Now be patient with yourself. This is a process and you're making progress every time you play. Now that you've loosened up, you might still be using your whole arm, your whole arm like this, or maybe especially from the elbow to strum. Now that's pretty normal when you're starting out, and it can help. But I think it also leads to tired arms and kind of stiff strumming like this. And this is what's making your strumming sound bad in general. So how do you make that switch to a more fluid motion, specifically moving that whole arm swing to primarily using your wrist? And I think what you want to do is think of your wrist as like a loose hinge, not a stiff rod. And here's a simple way to feel it. Again, take off your guitar for a second. Now let your strumming arm, hang loosely by your side. Now just gently shake up your hand as if you're trying to shake water off your fingertips. Notice how only your wrist is really doing the work. Your arm stays still. And that's the feeling we want. And this kind of awareness, I think, is a real game changer. Being mindful of how your body moves can really set you apart. So keep tuning into these feelings, my young Padawan. But with your guitar back on, hold your pick lightly, almost like you're holding a feather. A lighter, thinner pick can really help with this feeling, I think, especially when starting out. And this pick here I'm using is a standard Jim Dunlop 0.50 millimeters. Now here's another tip. Rest the edge of your forearm lightly on your guitar body, just enough to anchor you without locking anything in place. And this gives your wrist more freedom to move while you keep your elbow quiet. Now, instead of swinging your whole arm from the elbow, not like that, try to recreate the shaking water feeling from your wrist, like this. Keep your elbow relatively still, almost tucked against your side, and let your wrist do the talking. And your pick should just lightly brush across the strings, not digging in, not like this. And I think this brings us to our second crucial piece of this strumming secret. Moving that primary motion from your elbow to your wrist, so that, to your loose, relaxed wrist. Now you're nailing these steps. Feel proud of every small, tiny change, because it all adds up to real progress. Now let's put that into practice. This isn't just theory, it's about feel. And let's try this super simple chord progression. It's just E major to A major. Now don't worry about speed or rhythm. Start with a few slow downstrokes, just 4 on each chord. Think like this: down, 2, 3, 4, down, 2, 3, 4, then switch, 2, 3, 4, and you're focusing on keeping your wrist relaxed and letting the pick glide across the strings. And this is a simple progression and also a simple pattern, but we can also try down, up, 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 down, up. And there again, don't worry about sounding perfect. Your only job right now is to feel the difference between forcing it and letting it flow. And if you're missing some of the strings while you do this, well, that's not a mistake. It's actually the next secret. Now, every time you practice, you're building new muscle memory. So remember to celebrate the effort, because that's what's going to carry you forward. Now, while you're still playing, I think here's something that most beginners don't realize. You're probably not hitting every string, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, it's exactly what we want. And I think this is a huge mental hurdle for many beginners. We often think if we're not hitting all 6 strings, we're not strumming right. But actually, trying to force your pick through every string can add unnecessary tension. It can make your strumming sound pretty stiff and pretty mechanical. And frankly, this is going to make it harder to play smoothly. So with the E and A, so if I'm forcing it, I'm going like this. And I'm probably holding the plectrum too tight. And so you hear that difference? The truth is, if you want your strumming to sound smooth, natural and effortless, you'll often be hitting only some of the strings, some of the time. So here's what I think is the powerful truth, and your third tiny change. Stop worrying if you're hitting all the strings or if you're not hitting all the strings. Focus on letting your strumming hand move naturally, allowing your pick to brush across the strings that fall into its path. Precisely controlling which strings you hit, well, that's a topic for another video. Now, there will be times when you hit all strings, for example, a big, powerful downstroke. But often, especially on those quicker up strums, when you want to emphasize certain parts of a chord, you'll find yourself, naturally hitting fewer strings. And I think another thing here is not to overthink it. Your goal is to make music, not to perfectly tick off every string on every single strum. So if you accidentally hit an extra string that's not part of your chord, for example, the low E string on the A major chord, it's not really the end of the world, is it? And don't let that stop your flow. So by letting go of the pressure to hit every string or try to hit every string, you'll reduce the tension. I think you're going to gain more fluidity, and your strumming, well, will start to sound much more natural and musical, almost effortlessly. Now remember, progress is more important than perfection. Every little step forward counts, and you're doing better than you think. These tiny changes can make a huge difference. So the next time you pick up your guitar, start by getting loose. Keep that wrist relaxed. And whatever you do, don't obsess over perfect strums. If it sounds musical, you're doing it right. So keep believing in yourself. You know, this journey might have its ups and down strums, but every strum brings you closer to the player you want to be. So be proud of yourself for showing up and trying. You can use these backing tracks here to work on your strumming. Thanks so much for joining me today. Happy strumming.